Okay, welcome to our online classes. Now we are going to start a new lesson. Name of the lesson is light. So what is light? We know we can see the objects around us. How is able to see the object? How do you see the objects? We can see the objects with our eyes. You may say that you are seeing the object with your eyes. May I ask the question, same object will you be able to see in the midnight, that means in the absence of light? Same object, the object what you are seeing now with your eyes, will it be possible to see in the absence of light? Definitely your answer will be no, because we cannot see the objects in the absence of light. So we can say that light is a form of energy. It makes the sensation of vision. What is light? It is a form of energy which makes the sensation of vision. We know when we are seeing an object, actually what happened? The light reflected from that object reaches our eyes. Then we get the sensation of vision. For example, when you see a rose flower, actually what happened? The light from a source, that means the light may be from the sun, it falls on the rose flower and a part of the light that will be get reflected. When the reflected rays reaches our eyes, we get the sensation of vision. Okay, hope it is clear. So if you want to see an object, or if you have to get the sensation of vision, we need three things. What are they? Let us see them. Presence of light, presence of object, and a healthy eye. Okay, I will say once again, if you want to see an object, first one what is required? We need light. A source of light is required. And the second one, an object should be there. So there should be an object, we have to see that object and the light. Again the third one, what is that? That is the healthy eyes. So with these three things we can see an object, or we get the sensation of vision. Okay, now let us learn what are the characteristics of light. We know light is a form of energy. Now let us learn what are the characteristics of light. What are the characteristics of light? First one, light is a form of energy. We said you that first point, light is a form of energy. And the second one, light is one of the form of energy which travels with more speed. The speed of light or velocity of light is very high. So can you guess what is the velocity of light? The velocity of light is 3 lakh kilometers per second. What is the velocity of light? 3 lakh kilometers per second. That means light can travel 3 lakh kilometers in 1 second. So don't forget, the speed of light is 3 lakh kilometers per second, or 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second. That means 3 lakh kilometers per second. Next point, medium. We know when we have studied about sound, we have said that sound also, it travels from one place to another, but it needed a medium. In vacuum, sound was not traveling, sound needed a medium. But what about here? There is no medium is required for the but light can travel through vacuum. So no medium is required for the propagation of light. And the speed of light, we said 3 lakh kilometers per second. That's the speed of light in vacuum. In air also the speed is almost same, nearly 3 into 10 raised to 5 kilometers per second. That means 3 lakh kilometers per second. And the next point, straight line. We know light always travels in straight line. How does light travel? Light travels in straight line. That is why due to the straight line motion, or due to the rectilinear propagation of light, shadows are formed. If you keep any opaque object in the path of light, what happens? We get the image, we get the shadow of that object. How the shadow of the object is formed? Because light cannot bend and travel, because light travels in straight line. Next one, no objects will be visible in the absence of light. That means light is needed to make the sensation of vision, or light is needed to see any object. Next one, we know the light that comes out from the sun, it contains 7 colors. It is a composite light. That means it is a combination of 7 colors. What are the 7 colors in sunlight? The 7 colors in sunlight are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. There is a short form, it is given VIBGYOR. By knowing this VIBGYOR, we can say we can understand what are the colors of sunlight. What are the colors? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Now our last point, when the light falls on an opaque object, it reflects light. When the light falls on an opaque object, it reflects light. When the light falls on a transparent object, light passes through that. But when it falls on an opaque object, it reflects. Now let us learn about our next topic. What is that? Illuminated and luminous objects. What are they? Illuminated and luminous objects. First let us learn about illuminated objects. The objects which shine by reflecting the light fall on it is known as illuminated objects. Once again, the objects which get shine by the light falling on it is known as illuminated objects. That means when the light is fall on some object, that when the light falls, that time it will be shiny or it reflects the light. Those objects are known as illuminated objects. That means illuminated objects do not produce light themselves. Light from a source, it falls on it and then it shine. Such objects are known as illuminated objects. Examples, you can say the examples. What is the example? Best example is moon. Moon does not produce light its own, but when the light from the sun falls on the moon, it gets shine. Okay, now let us learn our next part. What is that? Luminous objects. What is meant by luminous objects? Objects which shine by producing light themselves. Objects which shine by producing light themselves are known as luminous objects. That means luminous objects, they produce light, and due to that light they shine. Such objects are known as luminous objects. Many examples we can say for luminous objects. Sun is a luminous object, stars are luminous objects, and candle is a luminous object, bulb or tube lights, these all are luminous objects. So hope it is clear what is luminous objects. Now let us learn another part of our lesson, that is reflection of light. Reflection of light. What is reflection of light? I have said you that when light falls on an opaque object, the light reflects. The light reflects. So what is meant by that reflection? What is meant by the reflection of light? When light falls on an object, a part of the light returns or bounces back to the medium, same medium. This phenomenon is known as reflection of light. That means when the light falls on some objects, it returns to the same medium. This phenomenon of light is known as reflection of light. For example, when you throw a rubber ball to the ground, it touches the ground and it bounces back. Same way, light also when falls on some surfaces, it will be get bounced. This reflection of light, this bouncing back of light or returning of the light to the same medium is known as reflection of light. Hope you have understood what is reflection of light. It is a bouncing back of light or returning the returning of the light to the same medium is known as reflection of light. So we have completed reflection of light. Now it is a time to study about the laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. How many laws of reflection are there? There are two laws of reflection. Let us see what are they. When a ray of light falls on a plain smooth surface, it is reflected in the same medium such a way that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Second law, the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal lie in the same plane. I will say first law once again. When a ray of light, that means we said you that when the light falls on certain objects, a part of it will be reflected. When it reflects, what should be there? It reflects in such a way that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. How does it reflect? It reflects in such a way that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. This is the essence of first law. What is the essence of first law? Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That always it will be same. Next one, incident ray, reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. These are the two laws. So let us understand that law some more clearly. Here xy, here is a reflecting surface, you can see xy. That is a reflecting surface, let it be a mirror. And a ray of light A falls to the mirror at a point O. And from that mirror it reflects, that means reflected ray is B. The ray that falls to the mirror is known as incident ray. The mirror that incident or that falls on the mirror, that is known as incident ray, and the ray that comes out after reflection, that is known as reflected ray. So there are two rays we have learned, incident ray and reflected ray. Which is incident ray? Incident ray is OA. And what is the reflected ray? Reflected ray is OB. OA and OB. Or we can say that AO and OB. AO is incident ray and OB is reflected ray. And here we can see a point. So where the light ray meet in this reflecting surface, that point is known as point of incidence. Where the incident ray falls in the mirror, that point is known as point of incidence. Okay, here what is the point of incidence? Point of incidence is O. In this diagram, the point of incidence is O. And if you are drawing a line perpendicular to the reflecting surface, if you are drawing a line perpendicular to the reflecting surface, what is the reflecting surface here? Mirror. So if you are drawing a line perpendicular, I think you know what is meant by perpendicular, the line that makes 90 degrees. So if you are drawing a line perpendicular to the reflecting surface, that line is known as normal. What's the name of the line we drawn perpendicular to the reflecting surface from the point of incidence? That line is known as normal. What is the name of that line? Normal. So till now we have learned three lines: incident ray, reflected ray and normal. Incident ray, reflected ray and normal. Now the angle between incident ray and normal, the angle between incident ray and normal is known as angle of incidence. What is it called? Angle of incidence. Then in the same way, the angle between normal and the reflected ray, the angle between normal and reflected ray is known as angle of reflection. So what is this? This is angle of incidence. That means angle between incident ray and the normal, and this is angle of reflection. What is angle of reflection? The angle between reflected ray and normal. So it is always in a reflection, these two angles will be always equal. That is our first law. Do you remember first law? Angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Or we can say that when a ray of light falls on an object, it reflects in such a way that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Now first law we have completed. Now second law. Second law, what does says? The incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal. And the normal from the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. That means this all lie in the same plane. Means if we can draw on a plane, that means on a board, on a paper, we can say that they are on the same plane. So we have learned first law and second law, and also we have verified here.